Eagles fans, welcome into the Postgame Show presented by Ricoh. I'm Gabriella DiGiovanni, joined by Fran Duffy, Ike Reese. Home opener today, guys. San Francisco 49ers came to town. The Eagles lost this one, 17-11. Now, you look at that first half. It was a defensive slugfest. You could say the Eagles really dominated that first half. Then the 49ers kind of got into a little bit of a rhythm in the second half. Initial thoughts?
Well, missed opportunities, right? You talk about that first half where the Eagles seemingly came out and controlled the field position. They're able to move the ball up and down the field, just not able to punch it in. And when you're playing against a team like the San Francisco 49ers that are well coached, play very well on the road, eventually they're going to make adjustments and they're going to make a push, and that's what we saw happen. I've never felt so disjointed after a half, and you're down 7-3, and you feel like your team completely dominated the first half. And when you look up and there's only 3 points on the board, I know that can be deflating when you walk in there in that locker room. So that's the first thing that come to my mind about this game is missed opportunities in that first half where we really had a chance to put our foot on the throat of the Niners and really just left them in the ball game.
I totally agree. I think that obviously missed opportunities, I think, is going to be one of the big buzzwords we hear, obviously, coming out of this game. The other big one, too, just momentum, right? There's a lot of people that will say, like, oh, there's no such thing as momentum in sports. I think in this one, a great example is the fact that the Eagles had control of this game through a quarter and a half. And then as some of those mistakes started to build, they just let you kind of lost some of that steam. And then going into the locker room, you didn't feel like a team that dominated that first half, even though you're ahead on the scoreboard.
We're going to bring in another member of the team. We're going to head over to Lincoln Financial Field where Eagles insider Dave Spadaro is waiting. Dave, we just kind of gave our initial thoughts on the game here. We talked about the Eagles dominating in that first half. What did you see from the Eagles when they returned in the second half and they didn't really keep up with the adjustments that the 49ers made?
Yeah, I mean, what's shocking to me in this game is that the Eagles played a Niners team that was missing the two starting cornerbacks, and they couldn't take advantage. I mean, certainly the big play to Quez Watkins was nice, but Devontae Smith was very quiet, and I would like to understand how the Niners covered them down the field, because I thought the Eagles would have their opportunities. Now, I knew coming in that the Eagles were going to try to hit the Niners in the screen game. It didn't work. 49ers did a really good job flowing to the football, but they took away the downfield plays. Other than the Watkins play, where was Devontae Smith? Certainly he had a few catches. He gained a couple of penalties, pass interference calls, but otherwise really quiet. And I came in thinking that Devontae Smith would be targeted 15 times and have a field day. I was way wrong. The Niners beat up on the Eagles in the pass game.
Dave, we talked about over the course of the week, we talked about that matchup, the Eagles offensive line against the San Francisco defensive front, how that would be one of the pivotal matchups in this game. Your thoughts on a pass game and run game, how that one fared?
Yeah, not terrible except in short yardage situations.
Yeah.
What was my kind of quote unquote key to the game before the game? Red zone. The Eagles didn't hold the Niners in the red zone defensively, and the Eagles didn't take advantage of San Francisco when Philadelphia was in the red zone. You lose a touchdown pass to Jalen Reagor. On the same possession, you get a field goal blocked. You miss out on 4 chances from the 1-yard line. Now, the Eagles made the decision to go a little bit smaller at the running back position. No big back. No Jordan Howard, who's on the practice squad, who was not active today. Is that something they reconsider moving forward? Really surprising that the Eagles, from the 1, kind of resorted to trickery there instead of playing some power football. In the NFL these days, it is so much easier to move 20 to 20. You got to score touchdowns in the red zone. Eagles did not do that at all.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing for me also, Dave. In that first half, missed opportunities as the Eagles moved up and down the field. In the red zone chances, they didn't capitalize on. I'm just wondering, no Zach Ertz's real attempts down there in the red zone. I thought the tight ends would be a little more prominent down there. Anything you see from the 49ers defense to sort of take away the tight ends to where Jalen was going somewhere else?
Yeah, whatever they were doing, they were taking away Jalen. Now, look, we know Jalen is still learning, okay? He's going to learn to go through his progressions. So if you take away that first read, where are you going after that? Well, the Eagles didn't have any answers for that. So whatever the Niners were doing in coverage, they were doing a terrific job not giving large windows for Jalen Hurts to throw to. And so a really impressive schematic performance
wrap.
from the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, they really did a great job defensively against the Eagles. I give them a lot of credit. Philadelphia, if you thought coming in it was going to be easy because San Francisco was down 2 cornerbacks, as I did, I admitted, I thought the Eagles would have opportunities to make big plays in the pass game, and other than the Quez Watkins one, they just couldn't pull it off.
Dave, going over to the defensive side, obviously, they start with 4 3-and-outs to start this game, but then you had that streak there right in the middle of the game where you had a couple 12-play drives. You had that key 16-play drive that ate up over 9 minutes of clock there in the third quarter. Overall thoughts walking away from the field on the defensive performance in this one?
Yeah, I mean, giving up a couple of 90-plus yard drives, not a good thing. They didn't really control Deebo Samuel with the catch and run. I mean, late in the first half, you still have them pinned down at the 3-yard line. Do you go after them? You lose Brandon Graham on the first play of that drive, and hopefully BG is okay. But yeah, the catch and runs, the Niners came out through a bunch of screens, did a lot of misdirection stuff. The Eagles expected all of that. I thought they ran the ball effectively at times, and they had 2 90-plus yard drives. Other than that, Fran, as you say, not much success for the Niners. But even in key situations, in third and short, when they went for these short yard, when Jimmy Garoppolo is sneaking the football, very successful push. Great get-off by the San Francisco offensive line, beating the Eagles in key situations. And look, it came down to last possessions, missed opportunities as we started the postgame show here. Eagles did not take advantage of theirs, and the Niners certainly took care of theirs.
All right, Dave. Well, thank you so much. As Nick Sirianni says, it's the 24-hour rule, right? And we're on to Dallas next week on Monday night. Thanks, Dave.
All right, guys.
All right, guys, we talked to Dave, broke some things down. We mentioned the defense, right? And we mentioned their dominance in the first half. I think they were a bright spot up until the end when you look at the performance of guys like Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox.
Yeah. I mean, plain and simple, I believe they wore down a little bit. I mean, San Francisco is a very physical team. They love to run the football, the misdirections. They want to get your big D linemen moving east to west as opposed to north and south. And after a while, that's going to wear you down. And what San Francisco did, they didn't have a lot of chunk plays in the run game, but they kept that steady 3 yards, 4 yards, and you pick up those key third down conversions. That's how you get a 17-play yard drive. I thought in the first half, the 49ers couldn't handle the Eagles' defensive front. I mean, Javon Hargrave looks like he's shot out of the cannon every play. I mean, he's in the backfield just about every play disrupting the offense. It got to the second half, and it just seemed like we ran out a little bit of steam in that fourth quarter, and the 49ers were able to sustain some drives.
When you go up against this offense, it's a battle of attrition, and they're going to make you chase the football side to side, and at some point, they're banking on you wearing down. I think that kind of happened there a little bit in the second half. I agree. But I think the big thing at the end of the day, you just got to execute on some of these opportunities. When you have a good football team coming to your building, home opener, the offense, defense, special teams, too many missed opportunities on all 3 phases of the game.
I thought last week against Atlanta, a strength of the Eagles' offense was their rhythm. They were able to get into a rhythm and maintain it over a long period of time. Today, it felt like there was a little bit of a struggle in really establishing a rhythm. And they were kind of playing hurry up last week, and that was working. And then they would go into the huddle, and that was working. They couldn't really find something that was working. How do you think they're going to look back on that as they prepare for Dallas this week?
You got to give the 49ers credit, right? It's a good defensive team. DeMeco Ryan is one of the bright, young defensive minds in the league. He'll be a head coach at some point before his career is over with. I think if you're the Eagles, you have to say to yourself, they look back at this tape and they say, man, there were opportunities there where if we had just did this a little bit better, whether it's blocking, getting the right angle, making sure you look the ball in. Like, there were opportunities in that first half. They just did not take advantage of them. And often what happened was you got where you shot yourselves in the foot. All right, so after the Quez Watkins play, no fault of their own, but Brandon Brooks gets injured, and the penetration that's allowed there forces Miles to go back. Now we're looking at a 3rd and long or 4th down play there, and they're not able to get points. That's deflating to a team when you don't cash in on those opportunities.
And if you go the drive before, or the 2 drives before that, where you think we have 7 points there with the Jalen Reagor touchdown, that comes off the board, and then you get the field goal blocked. That's a 7-0 point swing. sitting here at the end of the game, it's like, I wish we'd have had those 7 points for sure.
And here's the other thing. San Francisco didn't get a first down until the second quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't get a first down until the second quarter.
4-3 to start.
Yep.
And the game was still 3-0.
Yep.
See, when you're playing that well, and the Eagles, I'm sure they expected to be in a dogfight, a slugfest. That's the type of football the 49ers will force you to play. But I have to believe that when you look up at that scoreboard and you feel like you've played as well as you have and you only have 3 points on the scoreboard, you start saying, you know what? We can't start pressing.
Yep.
And sometimes that happens, and you got to just let the plays come to you. They looking back at this film tonight or tomorrow, they'll say to themselves, we're not that far away from the San Francisco 49ers. And that's a team that everybody has in the playoffs, even some going to the Super Bowl. That's a very good football team they played today.
Well, and I think a part of it, too, is, right, this was Sirianni's first test in terms of halftime adjustments.
Yep.
As a head coach, in a position where you're down at home, and you got to get these guys together and make a plan of how you're going to adjust to a good San Francisco team. Jimmy Garoppolo is working with Kyle Shanahan for quite a few years now, right? They have a good thing going, and they have pieces on that offense that have been working together for quite some time. So this was a big test number one, if you will, in this situation. And so there might be some growing pains, or there might be areas where now they have a better plan in place to how we're going to adjust next time at halftime if we find ourselves in this spot again.
And listen, this was expected. You obviously want to win every game that you go out there to play. But coming into this game, at least I felt this would be a great test to see where the Eagles are as a team, right? They went on the road last week, dominated the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons weren't a very good team, but it doesn't mean the Eagles aren't a good team. It just means you have to be up for the next test. And I thought, listen, coming out of this game, the Eagles have to say to themselves, we're this close. We're not very far away. You got to clean up some things. And against a football team as good as the Niners, you got to capitalize when those opportunities are there.
To put an exclamation point on that, if you think that the 49ers are one of the contenders for the Super Bowl in the NFC, the Eagles just went toe-to-toe with them for all 4 quarters. So it's a matter of cleaning up those mistakes. And that is the big part of it.
Dave touched on the receivers kind of struggling to get opportunities, right? Especially when Jalen Hurts can throw a deep ball. We didn't see much of what we expected, especially when San Francisco, their 2 starting cornerbacks, are out. I thought this is a huge opportunity for those young guys to really take advantage. And like you said, Devontae Smith, pretty quiet today, but he was covered pretty well by those corners who were standing in for the starters.
Got to learn from it, right? We got a young receiving core. Every game is an opportunity for you to go out there and get better, learn from your mistakes. And he was going up against some savvy veteran corners in Jimmy Ward and Josh Norman. We know Josh Norman is not as good as he once was, but that's a former Pro Bowl cornerback over there. And you watch Jimmy Ward play, the way he was able to turn around, look for the football, play the ball in the air. The young receivers can take something from playing against veteran corners like this because they're going to get a different look every week, and it's going to be a new test. And they come back next week, as long as you don't get down on yourself, right? As long as you don't lose confidence. And I don't believe these guys will lose any confidence. It's an opportunity to learn about where you can get better as a young player in this league, and knowing that no matter what you did the week before, it's on film. Somebody's going to adjust to it. Now you have to make the adjustment. This week, I hate the cliche, but it's a week-to-week league.
That's it. Yeah, to me, too, I think it's just staying on the topic of Devontae Smith. He was targeted a lot on 3rd down. And I think that they said something on the broadcast where it was like, when you look at this offense, when it's a gotta-have-it play, they've got plays designed for Devontae Smith. They've got plays designed for Dallas Goedert, for Miles Sanders. So it's about finding ways to capitalize on that. You look on the other sideline, San Francisco, same kind of deal. It felt like half the 3rd down plays for San Francisco went to Deebo Samuel. Screen game, run game, crossing routes, deep digs, finding ways to get him the football. Same thing, we're here with the Eagles and Devontae Smith and all these other weapons, trying to find ways to get them the football in space and then execute.
Obviously, a huge bright spot for San Francisco's defense, who really showed up as expected, is their linebacker, Fred Warner, right? He played a heck of a game. And you have to give him credit on that side of the ball, but I think he was a huge contributor in kind of disrupting the Eagles' plan in terms of getting the ball down the field.
Man, I think that may be the first time I've watched him in person. Flying around, and I can appreciate good linebacker play. Listen, the kid, he's arguably the best inside linebacker in the game, and you're right. He was shooting gaps, being a disruptor, causing a little confusion there. being what they expect him to be over there on that side of the football. When you have great players are going to find ways to make plays, and he was seemingly around the football everywhere in the run game.
And Nick Bosa, he lined up on both sides, left tackle and right tackle. He made plays. Kinlaw showed up for them. So a lot of their best players in that front certainly made plays today.
Look, I think a bright spot that can be taken from this situation is things that, Fran, you and I talked about all preseason long was the veteran presence on this team.
Yep.
We talk a lot about young guys on this team, the Devontae Smiths, but that veteran presence that has been a huge contributor in the development of this team during this new head coaching transition. Your Jason Kelsey's, your Lane Johnsons of the world, your Fletcher Coxes, your Brandon Grahams, they are going to play a huge role in this week. I feel like this week is huge for this Eagles team as a whole. And when you have guys who have been here, done this, won a lot of football games, started a lot of football games, they are going to be the key and the center of turning this team around and getting them ready to play Dallas on Monday.
Completely agree. Completely agree. You know, you don't want this thing to snowball. You know, you're not going to go 17-0. We all hope that we win every week, but you're not going to win every week. And when you lose a game, the most important thing is digest the film, figure out what you can get better at, learn from your mistakes, and then flush it and move on to the next game. Dallas coming up next week. That's a big divisional game. It'll be on national TV on Monday night.
All right, I have to cut you off. We have Nick Sirianni at the podium.
First and goal from the one after the 91-yard pass, and then the subsequent PI in the end zone. Why not just sneak it, as many times as necessary until you get in?
Yeah, I think that sneak is a little bit more from a little closer, to be honest with you. But as it was in the end of the game when we snuck it when we were on the half-inch line or whatever it was. But I don't think I called the good plays in that area, and there's going to be times where you're going to look at it and be like, I want those calls back. So when they work, it was a good play. They didn't, so it was my fault. I didn't call good enough plays right there. I didn't put the players in good enough positions, and it's on but we're all in this together, coaches and players.
The fourth down call in particular, why in that moment?
Yeah, I thought they give them credit, first of all. I think they did a great job. Their defense coordinator just did a really good job, and so I give them credit for some of the false things they were showing us. We thought it was a certain coverage. It wasn't. They did a good job of disguising it. 54 gets the show running out there. He can kind of get everybody lined up the way he needs to, and so I give them credit first, and then I felt confident in the play. The play looked good in practice this last week. Felt confident in the coverage that we were getting, and hey, they didn't play it, and that happens sometimes. On second thought, do I want that play back? Of course. Anytime you call a play that doesn't work, especially in tight games, especially in those and down there in a 7-point play, you're gonna want that back. So I got to call a better play.
What information supported taking timeouts before 5 minutes left in the game?
We just wanted to make sure we were down 2 scores, and we wanted to make sure that we had enough time to score fast and then get another possession. And that's, I thought we did, obviously a good job. Jalen did a great job on that drive, getting us into the end zone fast. So it's just saving enough time to put yourself in a position to have two possessions. I would do that again every day the way we did it. And I know. Obviously we want to get a stop on defense to get the ball back, but give them credit. They ran a couple. I thought that was a good call by Kyle on the pass to get it to 3rd and 1, and they converted.
Brandon Graham and Brandon Brooks, what can you tell us?
Brandon Graham and Brandon Brooks. Yeah. Obviously with Brandon Graham, we're fearful of what it might be. But we don't know for sure yet, so I don't want to say. But obviously we're concerned, and and he's such a good leader on this football team. So if we are without him, it will be a big blow. He's a great football player and a great leader. Obviously, one of our captains. So we're fearful, but I don't want to just say, what it is yet because I don't know for sure. Brandon Brooks, I'm still getting more information on him. I don't have all the information on him yet. Obviously, he didn't return, so again, I don't know everything there. Obviously, I was trying to call the game and also the manage the game, so I don't have all the information for him yet.
Nick, you went through your first NFL win. You got the jubilation of the speech in the locker room. Now it's your first NFL loss. What did you say to the team inside?
You know what? Very similar to after the win. That round 3 is coming up, and round 3 is not going to, the bell's going to ring for round 3, regardless if we won or if we lost. So we have to put ourselves in position to win round 3 by, correcting this tape hard, by rehabbing hard, by meeting hard and walking through hard, and by practicing hard to put ourselves in position to try to win next week in a division game. So. Obviously there's disappointment. We didn't win the game. That's the only goal, and don't care how you ever win it. You just want to win the game, and so it was though. Hey, you learn from this. Get up, pick yourself up, and try to go back and get back to work for next week.
Can you get an explanation on the Kayvon Wallace helmet hit on the forced fumble?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm looking at it live just like they are, and. So I didn't. It's not like I saw a replay. I didn't see much of it. They said that he led with his helmet, and I just got to trust that they did their job right. The tape doesn't lie. We'll figure it out from the tape, but I just got to trust that they did their job well, and it was what it was.
What was your assessment of Jalen Hurts' performance, and did you feel there were times he held the ball too long?
I actually thought he did, without watching the tape, Jeff. Obviously I got to go back and watch the tape, but without watching it, he made some big plays with his feet, and we, it's always this fine line of, hey, throwing it on rhythm, but also extending plays if something's not there. So I thought he did a really good job, though. There's a couple times they did a good job covering it, or they got a guy through the line and he escaped. I don't know. Did we have 1 sack? Is that what it was? Was it 1 sack? Just on 3rd down against a good rush like that. I mean, credit to our offensive line and Jalen and getting out of some of that stuff. But I'll look at the tape. But initially I'd say no, Jeff. But again, you never can tell some of that stuff until you watch the tape.
Touchdown to Rager that was called back because he was out of bounds. What is the teaching point for him there to make sure that he stays in bounds?
Yeah, just saving room on the sideline with how you release. That's the main thing right there is how you release to save some room on the sideline. So you, even if you get bumped, you don't get pushed out. So he's probably a little closer than what we like. I thought he made a great play. Obviously, it just was his foot was out. The referees did a good job of officiating that. He never. I told the one referee, he probably never heard a coach tell you good job when a 50-yard touchdown comes off. But they officiated it well, and they did their job well.
You gave up 17 points on defense to a team that scored a lot of points last week.
Yeah.
I mean, is that a positive? I know they, commanded the ball for much of the last 2/3 of the game, but still, 17 points is.
Yeah, I thought the defense really played well. I really did, and it just, and we wanted to get an early lead and to make the team play from behind, and we didn't capitalize. I think it's a different game. You go up 10-0. Maybe it takes them out of some of their stuff that they really like to do. Again, Kyle called a great game, I thought, but. You want to try to get an early lead, and we didn't do that for them. So as an offensive staff, and particularly as an offensive staff. So I thought Jonathan and his staff did a great job of putting us in position against a team that could really run the football. And then I thought the players really executed the plan well. I thought we played, without looking at the tape, I thought we played a good game on defense.
You talked about the breakdown on the special teams on the blocked field goal.
Go ahead.
Have you talked to Mike about that at all? What was the breakdown?
About the block? I don't think there was penetration. I think it just looked like he got his hand on it. And I don't know if it was a low kick. Offense is offense. I feel like you get a ball a little closer for him. If you get the ball a little closer for him on offense, then maybe he doesn't have to line drive it like that. So I'll have to look at the tape. Mike and I didn't talk about that yet, but I felt like he had to drive it from where we were on the field.
Coach,
Yeah.
Last one, guys. Coach, in most situations, are you going on 4th down? Do you regret not kicking the field goal in that situation?
On the 4th and 3?
Yeah.
I just want not really. Not really. What I regret is I think I should have called a better play and put our guys in a better position to score. I take full responsibility on that. Again, if it works, then great. We're up 10-0. It didn't, and so. On hindsight, I just wanted a different play call. I didn't call the right play in the right time.
All right, thanks. Players coming.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that was head coach Nick Sirianni giving his initial thoughts following the home opening loss to the 49ers. Guys, what did you think about some of the things that he had to say? He was asked about that choice to go for it on 4th down. It didn't work out. He said the coverage was disguised. It wasn't what they expected, obviously.
Yeah, he's right. You know, when you make those decisions, we all love it when it works, right? Coach is daring, you know, he's risky, he believes in his players. It works. We love it. He's aggressive. And then when it doesn't work, people want to second guess you. So he's absolutely right in the way that he views that. I didn't have any problem with the decision to go for it. You're down there. You want an opportunity to put a touchdown on the board. Now, the play call, yeah, could it have been a different play call? Sure. The thing that kind of bothered me was that throwing the ball away. I mean, you can't throw it away.
We got to go again. Steven Nelson at the podium.
Stand by.
Can you describe what happened on the long 97-yard drive? And how hard was that to play?
Yeah, they just made a good play. You know, we got to, just play that play better. You know, we knew coming in that, you know, they're a great team when it comes to run after catch. You know, we just got to make better plays.
Were you on the side of the field on the touchdown? Were you on that side of the field? Did you see what happened there?
Yeah, I play on the right side. A lot of things just got jumbled up, you know. Yeah.
On the drive in the fourth quarter, 2 personal fouls back to back. What's the message to the defense after those plays?
You know, just coach always talks about, you know, hitting yardage, and you know, that's definitely those 2 examples of hitting yardage. You know, we kind of, you know, stubbed ourselves in the toe on those.
Did the offense, like, you know, being able to, you know, expand their 3-0 lead, did that affect you guys on defense at all? Did you feel like you had to play too perfectly to keep them out of the end zone?
Their offense?
Yeah, well, when your offense, you know, didn't expand the 3-0 lead, I mean, how much did that affect you guys on defense?
You say when we didn't? I'm sorry.
Yeah. When the offense, like, didn't expand on their lead, how much did that affect you guys on defense?
You know, it happens. We just got to, you know, as a defense, we just got to, you know, continue to play hard, and you know, it's our job to make sure that they don't score, the other offense.
Is there something to losing Brandon Graham and his leadership on the field, and how did that affect you guys?
Yeah, man, that sucks for BG, man. You know, I got a lot of respect for that guy, man, as a leader, and, you know, his hard work and, you know, dedication the way he's been for this organization, man. And, you know, I just hope he gets better and well. But, you know, definitely was sad to see him, you know, limp off the field.
Is that something that you guys, like, feel? Do you feel the loss of that presence?
Definitely, you know, that's, you know, he's a big presence on our team. You know, never want to see a guy like that go off the field. You know what I mean? So.
All right, let's get Fletcher.
All right, heard from Steven Nelson. Touched on Brandon Graham losing him in this game. How big of a loss? I'm sorry, we're going back. Fletcher Cox.
How do you think you guys played defensively, gave up 17 points to a team that runs the ball well and was pretty productive last week?
I mean, I think as a defense, you know, we played good, but obviously, you know, we didn't play good enough to win. So, you know, you can take some good and bad from what just happened in this game today, and you know, you learn from the good. I mean, you learn from the bad, and you know, even from the good stuff. You know, the good plays that we made today, you just learn from it, and you know, you go out and you practice, correct the wrong, and you know, get ready for the next game, which is it.
What emotions did you go through seeing BG leave the field, a guy who's played on your hip for 8 or 9 years, and have you been able to get with him since he got hurt?
I mean, it's always tough, you know, and it was a pretty emotional moment for me to see BG limp off the field, because I think me and BG, I know me and Brandon has played so much ball together, and to see him walk off the field was pretty rough for me. But you know, we know Brandon, he's in a good spot right now, and you know, we'll talk, and you know, once he figure out what's going on, then but at the same time, we got his back, and you know, we'll go from there and get ready for the next game.
How difficult is that when you go through an emotional thing like that, and then you have to get right back on the field and play?
Man, it's just one of them things, you know. You know that it's football, and you know things happen. You know, people get hurt, players get hurt, your best friend get hurt, and BG's, you know, obviously my locker mate since I got here, and now we we still get to laugh and talk about things. It's just won't be on the field on Sundays. It'll be in the locker room. So I'm looking forward to that and making sure that he stays in a good place.
Usually after the game, you're talking to the other team and exchanging pleasantries. Why did you just run right off the field after this game?
Normally, most of the time, win, lose, or draw, I normally run off the field. Sometimes I will stay and chat around, but I don't know. Think it's nothing to talk about. We just got our teeth kicked in.
Right after the Kayvon Wallace penalty, you were talking to the referee. Did he give you any kind of explanation for what happened there? I mean, it seemed like you were really frustrated.
I mean, I just let John Farrar handle all that stuff. I don't agree with the call, and it is what it is. They threw the flag. They still with it, and that was a big turning point in the game for us. And as a player, being honest, it kind of just sucked the air out of you when things like that happen. But like you say, man, it's just week 2, and we got a lot of ball to play.
Hey, Fletch, how more frustrating is that? Because you had 2 15s on that same drive, one before with Derek Barnett. How difficult it is? You said it sucks the air out of you. How difficult is it for the defense to overcome that hidden yard?
We just got to be smart. You got to play smarter football. I think the penalties get called. We just got to we got to be smart. And it happens to everybody. That could have happened to me. I got a penalty, a 5-yard penalty, hands to the face, that kept a drive alive. So you can't point your fingers at one person. I think you just got to kind of look in the mirror at yourself and know that I can be better with my hand placement and keep it out of somebody's face. So you don't point fingers at nobody. Just know that we can be better as a team, as a defense, and just keep going, man. There's no panic in that locker room at all.
It seemed they started the shift with that drive at the end of the half there, the one where Brandon got hurt. What happened from your perspective on that 97-yard?
They made some plays. I think if I go back and look at that play, I think that big play, I think Jimmy G threw a dart in the right spot, and Debo made a play on the ball, and we know he's basically a running back playing wide receiver, and just one of them plays that made big plays, and they get paid too. So at the end of the day, we just got to get them on the ground and take that next play away.
Alex, there was a lot of talk about the San Francisco run game, their scheme coming in. It looked like you guys were really on top of the fit, especially early. What did you guys do to slow them down?
Our front, those those guys, Hargraves, Fletch, BG, DB, and the Sams. I think they played exactly how they should. They reset the line of scrimmage. I think with that team in the run game, you have to. They're physical. They get off the ball and they play their brand no matter the situation. I think those guys, especially up front, came out with the mindset that they were gonna set the line of scrimmage, and hats off to them. Really, the whole game.
How difficult was it to watch Brandon Graham go down?
Yeah, that's just hearing Fletch talk about it. It's that's obviously one of our captains. That's huge. He's that emotional leader. You guys all know him. He's always got a smile on his face. Always doing the right things. He's one of those guys that could always overlook somebody. I remember when I was still on practice squad, he was the guy every day telling me I would play one day. So he's that guy for this team, and he'll still be that guy. I think that's the best part about him is. We might lose him on the field, but we're definitely not losing him, in the room, in the building, and all that stuff.
In the huddle, though, Alex, how do you think moving forward you'll be able to replace him, find that with it amongst yourselves? Or?
Yeah, the other team probably won't hear as much before plays, but it's going to be huge. He knows what's going on. He's a vet. He's been here forever. He's just that leader, and I think like I said, we're going to get to have him, pretty much all the time except, on Sunday. So I think that's going to be huge, and that's just because of the person he is.
You probably heard Fletch mention that the 15-yard penalty on the forced fumble sort of sucked the air out of the defense. Is that how you felt in the huddle? And did you notice that, that loss of energy?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of us knew, what it was. I think we all kind of just assumed it was a block in the back, and those happen on turnovers, and, you kind of just, whatever, we got the offensive ball. And so I think we were just kind of all shocked at I still don't even know what the call was. So, yeah, you just got to kind of, pick it back up and go back out there and, just find ways to kind of create more turnovers after that.
Last one we'll get later.
On their last drive, the pass that you checked there on the second down, what happened on that play in particular?
I mean, they ran a dig behind me too. You got to play high to low. If I would have given up a 12-yard in route, I think we would have been talking about how they threw a 12-yard in. I think it's just, it's football. You got to rally down, and I mean, it's kind of that situation. Get them to, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and, play football.
All right, we got Lane coming in.
Lane, you probably lined up across from Brandon Graham more than anybody else in the NFL. You know what kind of competitor he is and person he is. What emotions you do go through when he went down, and how do you feel right now?
It's terrible. Probably one of the greatest humans I've had the pleasure of playing with, competing with, for 8 years, going on 9 years, and really is really the heartbeat of this team. The way he conducts himself, the way he leads, and the way he plays. So I'm not sure what the extent of the injury is, but I'm heartbroken for him.
And the guy next to you as well. I mean, you've been without Brandon Brooks before, and it looks like you might be without him for a while today. How big are those two losses for on a lot of different levels for this team?
You can't replace those type of players. Younger guys got to step up, and we got to press on. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, Brooks is one of my best friends and best guard in the league, for a long time, and was doing well so far this season. And having him not be out there was a tremendous loss for us. And having him out there may have been a difference, between us winning and losing.
How did Dickerson do?
I got to go back and watch the film. I think he adjusted well there in the second half. But yeah, he's a massive human being, and when he starts figuring it out, I mean, he's so strong and big. I think he can hold his own. So we got to go back and watch the tape. I think we could have done a lot better there in the first half, especially on the goal line. We had opportunities to punch it in for touchdowns, and we didn't. And when you play a good team like that, that's the difference in winning and losing.
First week, was this the first week? I just thought, was this the first week you had him at the number 2 right guard, or had it been Herbie? I mean, it had been Herbie for a long time. Is this still the first time you guys got to practice next to each other?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I got to practice with Landon was this week, so I'll get more reps with him coming in this week, and maybe Herbie. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but really this past week was the first week I got some reps with Landon.
How is Brooks, Lane? Did you get to talk to him, and what do you know about
I don't know the severity of it. That's really it. I mean, I guess he went out first, second quarter, and then Landon was in, and then the game goes by so fast. I'm in the locker room, so I haven't really seen him too much. So I guess I'll find out later.
Later, play day isn't when you're sitting there first and goal inside the 5 or whatever, and you don't come away with points. How tough is it to shake that off and come back out?
Yeah, I mean, it's the difference in winning. I mean, you play a good team like the 49ers, that's the difference between winning and losing. So we had multiple opportunities to steal that game, and I thought the defense played a heck of a game. And offense, I could have done a lot better. A lot of guys could have executed a lot better, and we didn't.
Hey, we gotta get Jalen. Thank you.
Is that it?
We had a lot of opportunities out there we didn't capitalize on. I think that's plain and simple right there, and we have to be consistent in our execution. I have to be consistent in my execution and my operation as a field general. So something to learn from today, a lot to learn from. a lot of things out there, everything out there were things that we can control. So that's what hurts the most. Give credit to a good team and a good defense out there. I know those wounds out there are self-inflicted.
You had a number of deep shots. Was that the plan going in? And then on those calls, was this what you saw from the defense and you felt it was time to take them?
I wanted to give the guys an opportunity. Some of those I failed to do, though. I failed to hit them. So some we learn from and move on.
Gentlemen, Nick talked about the fine line between sort of off-schedule offense and getting the football out on time. How do you feel you handled that fine line today?
Did he just talk about that fine line? Yeah. I just going out there and trying to execute the play. I think all around, it's something that we can learn from, you know. And you win a game, you lose a game, you're going to walk away from that game wanting some plays back. So we learn from it, and we only go up.
On that 4th down and goal, what was your reaction to that play call?
4th down and goal, the double pass. I'm a playmaker out there on the field. I want to make the plays. You know what I'm saying? That's a play we didn't make. We didn't hit it.
Is it frustrating at all to not be the one to throw that pass?
It's frustrating to lose the game.
Is that designed to be thrown to you? Is that you the one that was?
As the quarterback, how do you react?
Nick said that you got a different look pre-snap on that play than what they actually executed. Did you guys think it was man because of the motion?
I'm sorry?
Nick said that you guys thought you had one look pre-snap and then they actually ran something different on the double pass. Did you think it was man and it was zone, or what was that?
I just wanted to go out there and try and hit the play. We didn't hit it.
As the quarterback, how do you react when you see Brandon Graham and Brandon Brooks go down?
It definitely hurts. You know, it hurts me because those are OG guys that have put a lot of time into this team, made a lot of plays for this team, and done a lot of great things with this team. So for them to go out tonight and for us to come up short, I feel bad. I feel like I let them down, you know. So we'll stay back from it.
Jim, can you walk us through the 3rd and 2? I think it was in the 4th quarter, and you had a read to your right, and then the pocket collapsed on you, and you got sacked. What were your options there after that one was taken away?
Yeah, I think you summed it up great.
With Brandon going down, do you feel like you have to become an even more vocal leader now that it's like that?
I think every day for me is trying to go out there and be the best quarterback I can be, best leader I can be. And obviously, I mean, I'm not going to get into injuries or anything like that, but whatever's whatever. I'm going to be a next man up mentality, a dog mentality, a so what now with mentality. And go out there and just grow every day. Regardless of the result, the process doesn't change. We'll tweak the things that we need to tweak, learn from our mistakes, but the rent due every day, the striving for it every day, the deposits being daily, put in every day, that doesn't change.
In your first answer, you said there's a lot to learn from this game. What's the biggest thing you learned from this game?
I think the lack thereof of consistency and finish. I think the biggest thing is finish. You know, and we've got 2 games under our belt now, and on the tape you see opportunities where we finished and we see opportunities we didn't finish. Well, in this game, we didn't finish more than we did, so we have to capitalize on those opportunities moving forward, and we have to learn from this, and learn from this feeling.
Did you have a message for Reagor after the play where he stepped out of bounds on the would-be touchdown?
I mean, if it's a touchdown, it's probably a whole different outcome of the game. But hey, dog mentality, move on from it. Just like we put a 24-hour rule on the wins, we'll do the same with these and learn from them.
Landon had to come in with a tough spot after just getting back to practice as a full participant. I know you have to watch the film, but how did he handle things going in such a situation?
We have a lot of confidence in everybody who goes out there. Everybody prepares their tail off during the week, and he came in and his first time getting action. You know, I think he did a great job. Things to learn from all points of views, but We're gonna all continue to learn. Win, lose, or draw, we're gonna all continue to grow. And we lost round 2.
Let's take 2 more questions.
Round 3 coming soon.
The 90, can you kind of walk us through the 91-yard pass to Quez? I mean, what you saw on it, how you guys were able to make it work?
Yeah, that's one of the shots we hit. It's been nice. I mean, he didn't score, but you know.
What did you see, and how did he execute that route? I mean, was that the number one option coming out of the huddle? Were there keys? Exactly how did that unfold?
Yeah, we just took a shot. Took a shot right there. I don't know. I took a shot to him.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Got Miles coming.
Miles, what was it like at halftime in there, and what was it like after the game, excuse me, compared to what you guys experienced last week?
I mean, it wasn't nothing too different in halftime, We were still in the game coming in at halftime. We just had to eliminate the mistakes and all the stuff that was holding us back, I mean, 49ers are a heck of a team. They play a heck of a game. They beat us, but I definitely think that there's a lot of things that we could correct on, and I think the outcome of the game would have been different.
They had 2 defensive linemen that didn't play last week, played this week. They're on their left side. I mean, how big a difference did those 2 guys make, considering how good they are?
I can't really say. I got my own reads and stuff to deal with during the plays and stuff. As a defense total, I think they're pretty solid, and they play a heck of a game, and just give credit to them.
What was the message in the locker room? Because you guys experienced Nick Sirianni's first win, and now it's his first loss. What was his messaging, and how was it received?
It's pretty straightforward. I think we definitely kind of beat ourselves, But like I said, give all the credit to 49ers. They played a heck of a game and got out with the W. But there's some stuff. Like Jalen said, win or lose, there's going to be plays that you want back. And it's just all about lessons, just learning from them and moving on.
Jalen said that the biggest lesson from that game is not finishing. Do you agree with that? And what do you do with that information?
Absolutely. I don't think anybody finished. I think everybody can look themselves in the mirror and and think about all the stuff that we could have done better. And I can. Had a couple MEs and stuff, so everybody did not play well or perfect, but definitely that's what film's for. And we got 17 weeks for this, man, and just gonna go back and get right and come back stronger next week.
Which plays do you want back? You said there's plays everyone wants back. Which plays out there would you like back?
I guess not really plays, but opportunities. We were in the red zone twice and didn't execute, so that's it's very frustrating.
On that 3rd and 1 for the blocked field goal, what from your vantage point, what did you see on that play?
Repeat that.
The 3rd and 1 for the blocked field goal, what did you see from your vantage point there?
What I seen, we were on the goal line, just trying to punch the ball, and a lot of stuff happened and disrupted the play. Just didn't execute the play well. That's all I can really say.
And it looks like Brandon Graham, at least for a while.
Losing a guy like that hurts, but it's next man up mentality. I think Landon came in and held his own pretty well. Like I said, it's next man up mentality. We've been through this. B. Brooks is, he's going to be in this era. He's not going to be going forever, but definitely going to look out for Landon and, get him right. And, and like I said, next man up mentality, we're going to keep going.
It was a 3rd and 6 early in the game that you ran the ball. Was that something that was changed at the line, or was that the call?
Repeat that.
I think there was a 3rd and 6 early in the game where you ran the ball. Was that changed at the line, or was that the call in the huddle?
I'm not sure. I run whatever's called in the huddle. Did we get the first round? No?
Stopped.
we got stopped. Yeah, I can't remember right now. I don't remember.
All right, we heard from Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, a handful of players. General consensus is obviously, there's things that need to be fixed. That's the obvious, right? And they're going to get back to work this week and doing all of those things. I think something we want to go back and talk about is towards the end of the game, right? When the Eagles were driving, Jalen Hurts ran it in for a touchdown. They decided to go for 2. Successful. There's about 4 minutes left to play. They were down by 6 at this point. Fran, I'm going to ask you, in terms of a game management perspective, why was that such a good decision? Obviously, it worked out. It was successful. But when making that decision in that situation, why was that a good choice?
I think purely from a game theory standpoint, if you're down by 14, if you look at 2-point conversion plays, Ella, and you say, all right, well, it's just about 55%, you're better than 50-50, that you're going to hit it. Well, if you're going to go for 2 on that first touchdown, now you get 8 points. Now you get a touchdown, and you have the ability to take the lead. If the Eagles had gotten the ball back with the 3rd down stop there at the end of the game, they're driving to win. Now, if you miss on that 2-point play, well, now you're down 8, and you go back, and now you try and hit the 2-point play to tie it. So the chance of a victory there raised a little bit by taking that early 2-point conversion play. And I agree with using those early timeouts to try and say, okay, we're going to give ourselves plenty of time, go down, get a quick score, put ourselves in position to win the game late. And I think, too, when you look back to last week, guys, that 2-minute drive at the end of the half, I thought that they handled that really well against Atlanta before halftime. So you see the 2-minute drill at the end of the first half in week 1. Then you get how they handled the end of the game in week 2. I think that's a good sign just in terms of game management with this offensive staff, really the whole team as well.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We just saw that a lot through camp, that the Eagles really focused on those red zone situations. And so to see some of those things that we watched all camp long, them put such an emphasis on, and to be put now 2 weeks in a row kind of putting those situations to the test and it be successful, I think is a good sign for this team, right? That things are translating. Obviously, there's things always to improve upon, but at least we're seeing things that are being put in place turn out successfully.
Yeah, and it reinforces the coaching that they're getting, right? So as players, we say to ourselves, okay, why does he have us doing this drill? What's the purpose of doing this drill? We're never going to do this in the game. Well, coaches tend to know, these end-game situations will arise, and you want to be prepared for it. So the last 2 weeks, you get the players saying to themselves, okay, you're buying into the coaching that's happening out on the field. It just reinforces good coaching. It allows for players to really buy in. And for coaches, it's easier to coach that way when they can actually show you on the field where it worked at. It's how we did it in training camp, and look what happened in the game when the season started.
All right, well, Fran did what Fran does best, and that means he checked out some film earlier today. He broke down a big play from the game, so we're going to head to his Ricoh review.
All right, so this week here in the Ricoh review, we're going to take a look at the 91-yard reception by Quez Watkins late in the first half from Jalen Hurts. Let's take a look at exactly how this play came to be, and we're going to start just by looking at Quez Watkins. And when you have speed at the wide receiver position, you know who's aware of that speed? This guy, the defensive back. And Quez Watkins here matched up on a rookie day 3 pick, Diamador Lenore for the 49ers. And we'll let this run. You could see Quez is able to threaten that defender with the speed right off the jump. You can see the DB. He tries to put hands on Quez down the field because he's threatened right now. He knows he's about to get beaten over the top. But Quez does an outstanding job of playing through contact. He's not trying to draw the flag. He doesn't slow up. He doesn't lean into it and try and see if he can draw the penalty. He wants to go and finish and make this play down the field. We'll let this run, and you can see that Quez Watkins, he makes this catch over the shoulder, perfectly placed ball by Jalen Hurts here on this play. You may remember, Jalen Hurts missed Quez Watkins on a deep ball very similar to this one in the preseason down the left sideline. This one perfectly placed between those two players. And now let's take a look at this from Jalen Hurts' angle. And what I love here, we can let this roll. Jalen's going to deliver this ball with the pocket closing around him. And you can see there's a lot of defenders, a lot of white jerseys about to collapse on him in the end zone. You can see Jalen step into this throw. Perfect placement over the shoulder along the sideline where only Quez can get it. Lets the receiver run onto it, and you see the game-breaking speed. Outstanding job there by both Jalen Hurts and Quez Watkins. 91 yards. Eagles don't score on this drive, but a big game-breaking play from this
Now is your chance to vote for the Toyota Player of the Week. Go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com/Toyota Player of the Week to cast your vote and get a chance at a brand new Toyota. All right, let's look at the 3 nominees for the week. We're going to start things off with Javon Hargrave. He's 2 for 2 on these Toyota Player of the Weeks. He was also nominated last week. 7 tackles, a quarterback hit, and 2 tackles for loss. The big boys were definitely eaten up front today. All right, now we're going to take a look at Steven Nelson. He's nominee number 2. I'm sorry, that's Quez Watkins. That's all right. Wide receiver.
Huge play.
Huge play. We had Steven Nelson, Quez Watkins, Javon Hargrave, our 3 nominees. What do you guys think?
I'm going with the big fella up front.
Got him.
I mean, I've been so impressed with Javon the first 2 weeks of the season, man. It's like we got a new player. I mean, last year banged up, couldn't really be himself, wasn't the player that we saw in Pittsburgh. Man, these first 2 weeks, he's been the best player on defense by far.
It's just been great to see him carry that from training camp where he was dominant into the regular season. 2 games, unblockable. And it's not just him. Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, the rest of that group, they've been really strong as well.
It's definitely the cohesion of the group. I think they all are working so well together that it's bringing the best out of all those guys up front. It's really exciting to see as we move forward here.
Sure.
Looking forward to moving forward, we're going to look at our Jameson nightcap. It's a big week in Philadelphia. It's Dallas week. Next Monday, Monday Night Football, heading down to Dallas. All right, last year, let's not forget, the Cowboys, 6-10. They finished 3rd in the NFC East. They started week 2, 0-1. They are currently playing against the LA Chargers right now. All right, so let's see how they do. They're winning 7-3 in the first quarter. But it's a big one.
That's been a tough game.
It's a big one.
Yeah, the Chargers are a very good team. It's out there. Dallas certainly doesn't want to go to 0-2, but the Chargers are a good team.
Expected to be a high-scoring matchup for the rest of the afternoon and going into the early evening. Remember, Dallas lost to Marcus Lawrence, their star defensive player. He's going to be out for certain next week here against the Eagles.
And looking towards prep on the Eagles side, there's a little more juice, right, when it's against the Dallas Cowboys. So this is going to be a big one. So when they talk about all the things that they need to improve upon leading up to next week, we know that the focus is going to be there this week. They're going to be locked in and ready to play on Monday.
Yeah, and they'll be the last game of week 3. And when you're on Monday night, you know your peers are watching you around the league. You certainly want to play well. Regardless of the outcome of the Chargers-Cowboys game, the Eagles will be ready to go next Monday. They certainly don't want to have this taste in their mouth for 2 consecutive weeks.
How long did it take you as a player before you realized like it's a little bit different getting ready for Dallas?
Well, it took me just the first year. I mean, listen, my first game against the Dallas Cowboys, Monday Night Football, 1998. And instead of having the right fever pitch you need to play in that game for this rivalry, I was too busy stargazing that night. And we weren't a very good team in 98, and it was 34-0.
There we go.
34-0. So after that game, I didn't have a problem getting up for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, oh goodness.
All right, well, it's going to be a busy week here at the NovaCare Complex. We're looking to week 3 as the Eagles will take on the Dallas Cowboys. But for us, I think that's a wrap.
I think so.
I do want to point out 10-4 against the Dallas Cowboys in my 7 years here.
Not that no one's counting.
Let me know. All right, the Eagles wrapped up what Sirianni calls round 2. Looking forward to round 3. That's it for us on the Postgame Show. Join us next week for the kickoff show. Takes off at 7:30 p.m. right here from the desk. For Gabriella DiGiovanni and Fran Duffy and Ike Reese, go Birds.